Hi guys, so I'm gonna read Sensation Comics #1, the Wildcat story. So this is Wildcat's first appearance. As night cloaks the city with a mantle of blackness, a dark, lithe figure can be seen darting through the shadows, muscles ripping under his skin, tight costume as he prowls with the silent tread of a great wildcat. Who is this mysterious being? Where did he come from? What is the secret of his origin? The answer is to be found on the pages that follow. So by Irwin Hasson and Bill Finger, Bill Finger was the creator of Batman. This is the story of Wildcat. Read it and see how a nemesis of crime is born. Our story begins in the home of Henry Grant, the proud father of a newborn son. "My son, you're not going to be one boy who is not afraid of life. You're not going to bruise as easily as I did when I was a child. Not you, Ted Grant." Henry Grant kept his promise from almost the day he was born. Ted Grant was coached in the knowledge of sports and self-defense. From public school to college, he became a #1 man in sports. Yet in one sport, his skill surpassed the others: boxing. Look at that kid. Why, if he wanted to take up boxing for a career, he could go to the top. Not Ted, he wants to be a doctor. But the death of his parents changed his plans. "You broke, Ted? But how come? I thought Dad's, I'm gonna do the voice, of him in Batman Brave and the Bold, so, like, he sounds like he's from, like, Texas or something, but in Batman Brave and the Bold, Wildcat does. So Dad's insurance just covered his debts. Guess I'll have to find a job now." Ted came to the big city as soon as he found out jobs weren't easily gotten. And so it is we find Ted now broke, hungry, and tired after a futile round of the employment agencies. "No job, no... What the? A hold-up? Mind if I give you a hand with these babies?" "I don't mind at all, buddy." Ted's fists work overtime. The crooks know when they are beaten, and they take to their heels. "Say, kid, you sure can handle your dukes. Ever boxed before? In college, say. Aren't you Soccer Smith, the heavyweight champ?" Guilty. Look, kid, it's none of my business, but you look sorta down at the heels. Out of work? You hit the nail on the head. I never begged before, but if you could. Later. Now you look better. How would you like a job as one of my sparring partners?" "Sure, it's work, and boy, I could use some." Next morning at Wilman's gym. "Nice work, kid, nice work." After their little session, two men approached the pair. "Who's the kid, Soccer? I seen him work out with ya." "Ted Grant. I met him last night. The kid is real good, Ralph. How about getting a match for him?" "Ted, these are my managers, Flint and Skinner. Maybe I could get you a preliminary bout. Okay with you, kid?" Sure, I'm raring to go." And so Ted Grant starts on his boxing career. His thundering fists knock out a score of opponents, and he becomes the year's sensation. Sports Daily Sun, Grant by KO in 6th. Grant by KO, Grant takes Richmond. Grant by KO, yeah, this is like 3 times, but... However, Ted is KO'd himself one day by a pair of blue eyes. "Ted, I want you to meet my fiancée, Joan Fortune." "Fiancée, how do you do?" "Smitty told me about you. But I mean, how do you do?" But Ted tries to forget those blue eyes and turns to his career. "Between you and me, Soccer, some of my opponents are setups, and I don't like it." "I know it. I'll speak to Skinner and Flint." "What's the idea of bringing in setups for the kid?" Why, we were just trying to make the kid look good, that's all." "If I can't win honestly, I don't want to win at all." Ted proves that he can fight. He proves it so well, the newspapers start to clamor for a match with the champion. How about Grant Smith for the title? Grant, only real threat to crown. The managers approached Smith with the idea. But Soccer, I can't fight you, after all you did for me. Forget it, kid. I've been champ for a couple years now. It's about some time somebody else got a break. No matter who loses, we're gonna clean up either way. We got 'em both under contract. And I got an idea that'll make those two mugs forget their pals. Listen. The next day on the radio. And here's a hot tip. The fight for the title Friday night is going to be a real grudge fight. It seems Grant has been seeing a lot of Soccer's girlfriend, and Soccer no like the idea. Flash. Listen, Rat. What's the idea of telling him that rotten lie? He told us you gave him that tip. Hey, just a little publicity, boys. The Suckers love to see a grudge fight. When Grant and Smith leave. That laid an egg. If Soccer wins, the kid will be poisoned at the box office. But if the kid wins, a rematch would fill the house. I think I can fix it. At last, the night of the big fight. The two friends are to meet each other in the ring. I came in to wish both of you good luck. Keep 'em flying, boys. Thanks, sweetheart. Thanks very much, Joan. The clang of the bell and the fight is on. Friendship is put aside as the two opponents trade blows, fighting cleanly and aggressively. As the bell clangs for the end of the 5th round. Okay, slip it in now. Right. And as Ted leans his head back and rests his eyes, his second slips a needle into his right glove. The bell for the 6th round, both spar for a moment, then Ted spears. Soccer with a hard right, and Soccer drops. Ted's blow seems to have finished Soccer, for he lies dead to the world. The winner and the new champion, Ted Grant. Ted helps lift Soccer, but immediately senses something is wrong. He hasn't come to yet, and he's so still. Get the doctor, hurry. This man's murdered. I found this poison needle in his jaw. Dead? Murdered? Look, Doc, in his glove. Part of the same needle. Grant, you murdered Smith. What? But that isn't true. Soccer was my best pal. I don't understand. Everybody knows there was a grudge fight. You wanted him out of the way so you could get his girl. The needle in your glove is absolute proof. Take him away. As Ted passes the manager, a glimmer of understanding comes to him. You did this. I know you did. I'll get you for this, and before they put me away, I'll spill everything I know about those setup fights. Go on, beat it. You dope. You put too much poison on the needle. We only wanted to knock him out. Gee, it didn't look like too much. We gotta stop Grant from squawking to the commissioner. Under arrest, Ted is in a police car speeding along the road that leads from the Island Stadium to the city. Suddenly, another car tears out of the adjoining road and crashes into the police car. The terrific impact sends the police car careening through the flimsy fence, and it plunges down the gorge. There is a rending crash of metal and wood, and then a deadly silence. I guess Grant won't talk now. That guy ain't gonna talk for a long, long time. Some time later, there is a slight stir in one of the figures. A man rises shakily to his feet and staggers into the shadowy background. Ted Grant escapes. So that's the next day. An accident which killed 2 detectives, taking Ted Grant to prison, who is responsible for the escape. Grant is in hiding. At that moment, a bedraggled, unkempt figure reads the news. It is Ted Grant. I escaped death, only to be hunted like a wild beast. Joan, I wonder if as Ted paces the streets, he comes upon a small boy crying. What's the matter, kid? Some big guy took my comic magazine, and just when I was starting to read the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern? What's that? He's a fellow who fights crime. He puts on a mysterious costume, and then he goes after the bad guys. You mean he wears a costume so nobody will recognize him? Sure, because in real life he's got a job doing something else. Nobody knows he's the Lantern. Here, kid, Here's $1. Buy yourself a flock of magazines. You've given me food for thought. Gosh, now I can buy Flash comics too. So obviously that's like a in advertisement for Flash and Green Lantern. So he puts on a costume and goes after the bad guys. 2 days later in the home of Fane, the Crooked Second. I don't know why I'm so jumpy tonight. I get a funny feeling, as if someone is watching me. And there's Wildcat. Who? Go through what do? Wildcat, in person. What do you want? I want a written confession from you about how you killed Soccer Smith. Moving with a curious cat-like grace, the weird figure closes in upon Fane. A bald fist shoots out with trip hammer speed. I don't think you heard me. I said I wanted a confession. Do I get a confession or do I? No, don't hit me like that again. I'll write it. Moments later, the eerie figure of Wildcat darts through the protecting darkness. Racing uptown unnoticed, he reaches the destination. Wildcat is about to make another entrance. Meanwhile, upstairs. Well, Ralph, a drink to the capture of Ted Grant. I'll drink to that, Natty. To the crash. And the wooden door splinters open as a pair of broad shoulders smashes through. I never did like locked doors. You'll pardon me. What's this? Hey! We're all B. So this is your rat hole. What? Must be a drunk. Yeah, a guy from a masquerade. I'll toss him out. Why did you have to say something and go and say that? Quickly, Wildcat ties one end of a rope to a bed, the other end about Flint, and tosses him out into space. Listen, I want a complete confession from you about the murder of Soccer Smith, or else I'll cut this rope. You'll make a pretty splash. Put me up, boy. Please, I'll confess. I'll tell. And so, the next day, sensational news headlines. The papers. Ted Grant innocent. Fantastic figure called Wildcat delivers prisoners to police station. Skinner, Flint, and Fane sign confessions. The following day, the police are even more surprised when Ted Grant appears. Ted Grant. Well, I'll be. Where have you been hiding? Some fellow in a costume put me up. I told him my story, and he said he'd clear up for me. Called himself Wildcat. Wildcat? And that night in his home, Ted Grant glances at a newspaper item, which catches his eye. Well, that's that. Say, what's this? Crime rampant in city. More crime. Maybe this won't be the end of Wildcat. Maybe Wildcat will walk again. And who should know better than Ted Grant? For he is Wildcat. Wildcat walks again in every issue of Sensation Comics. So, that's the end of that comic. Hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. So, we're almost at 400 or 500 subscribers. So, I'm going to read Batman I think number 497, the Nightfall story. Or when Bane breaks Batman's back. That's the story I'm gonna read. But anyway, hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys after.